camping while the cancer saga continues. Holy mackerel. Guys. Anyway, I'm Denise. Welcome to Travels in My Chair. Stuff hasn't been going so great with me, and I don't want to go on and blather on, but I want to tell you the good things and, the bad things too. Good things. Graduation ceremony for my 12-year-old granddaughter was adorable, and they also had a band, and she played keyboard. But when the graduation ceremony happened, they get escorted up to the front, and she picked her cousin Elijah, who was in kindergarten, and he was a little bow tie, he was so darn cute. And she won an award for artistic excellence. Now, I'm going to show you a picture that she painted for me the other day, and I think you might agree with me that she's definitely got something. Definitely got something. It's a talent that is just inbred in her. No training, just comes out and sees it and she paints it, and it's quite something, really. This is a card that my 12-year-old granddaughter, Star, made for me the other day. She asked what my favorite flowers were, and I said peonies. So she just sat down and painted this in watercolor. But then she wrote this. And you probably can't read it, so I'm going to read it to you. Dear Grandma, thank you for being an amazing grandma. You've been so kind and caring, and I deeply appreciate it. I am extremely lucky to have you as my grandma. When you leave us, that was a little bit, okay, you'll never leave my heart. You inspire me to paint because you're an awesome painter, and I'd love to paint as good as you someday. I love you. Pretty special, eh? Wow, that's my grandkid. And then, of course, there was a band, lots of happenings, getting together. And we went camping. The weather wasn't that good, but a couple of things happened during that camping trip. I'll try to explain it to you. I've been having troubles with my chest, breathing problems, and also when we were camping, the weather was kind of cold. I spent a lot of the time sitting in front of the campfire, wrapped in a quilt, sleeping. But what happened during that time is there was no electronic devices because we were at a provincial park, right? So the kids had to do stuff, like talk, roast marshmallows, go swimming, go for walks. And I noticed that they kept popping in on me to make sure I was okay. All of them, right from little Elijah at 6, to Ronan at 15, and Austin, all of them. They just kept taking turns to pop in and to make sure I was okay. And Elijah has, for whatever reason, he's now decided he likes to lip kiss instead of cheek kiss, so that's another issue. But anyway, it's so cute. So he'd come and kiss me, grab my face, and plant one on me. They'd always check, are you okay, Grandma? Are you okay? And they'd come and hug me, and tell me they love me. And of course, the last video I did, I talked a little bit about whether or not I was going to do chemo or not. And chemo is very personal. I understand that. I understand. I don't know. There's so much negativity, and I'll be honest with you, it scares the hell out of me. It really does. And so, hummingbird just flew by. Anyway, as kids were crowded around me, my oncologist already told me, chemo will give you next to 2 or 3 months or whatever. And I had decided truly that I wasn't going to have chemo at all. And then as the kids were hanging around me, I kind of went, this is really quite special. What to do? I may have to make a decision because I want to spend as much time with them as I can.
It's getting there. It's had a life. It's so beautiful with the that's the
So then meanwhile, we get back, and I have a friend, oh boy, let me just give you a little bit of a backstory about my friend Rosie. When Alan and I first got White Lightning, our wheelchair-equipped motorhome, it was fraught with problems. And one of the problems was on one of our first trips with it out to Alberta to visit Alan's mother, who was very ill. We got to Drayton Valley, which is in Alberta, and it just stopped. And I was stuck because we were at the side of the road and there wasn't enough room to get the lift to swing out. It took forever to get a tow truck to come from Edmonton. So the first tow truck driver ended up phoning a cab, took me to Canadian Tire and parked me. So I sat at Canadian Tire from 6 o'clock till after 9 o'clock. I had a little bottle of water and I had 2 crumpled up biscuits, and I was in my wheelchair and I had my book, my Kobo. It wasn't a very nice part of town. Workers kept going back and forth looking at me kind of weird, and finally a lady came out and she said, "Can I ask what you're doing?" I said, "Oh, I'm waiting for our motorhome to get towed here." And she says, "Well, we're closing." And she says, "I'm not leaving you out here by yourself. This is not, no, I couldn't do that. You have to come home with me." And I said, "Well, I can't though. I can't really stand." And she said, "Okay." And then just at that moment, this big tow truck arrived with our motorhome on the back, and the driver said, "Ma'am, your accommodation for the night appears." And they had electricity there for, you know, when they have to plug in winter and stuff. So they allowed us to plug in, and it ended up being a 3-week ordeal for them to get the computer part. One came, it got sent back by mistake. We had to wait to get one from the States. And meanwhile, Rosie, who worked at Canadian Tire, and her husband Ken, took us under their wings. And for 3 weeks, I have never been treated so badly and so well. Ken was just foul-mouthed. "Oh, Lord, you know, Rosie, get me a beer." You know, she's 4'10". "Okay, Kenny." And I'm sitting there just, you know, I have not laughed so hard in my life. Those two were just the most amazing couple I have ever met. And both Alan and I agreed. And after 3 weeks, when it came time to leave, Alan would take turns with Rosie doing the cooking, and, you know, because Ken was pretty useless. He did nothing but talk dirty, you know. Anyway, when it came time to leave, said we'd see them again. He said, "Oh, no English." That's what he called me. He said, "No English, you won't. We've helped out lots of people in our time, but they always say they're going to stay in touch, but they never do." I said, "Oh, you don't know us, Kenny. You don't know us." We were back 2 months later. Stayed seeing them 1 or 2 times a year ever since. And we got closer, as close as you can. We loved them so much. And then Ken died a couple of years ago. He said he would never quit smoking, and sure enough, he had a stroke, and on his way down he said, "Get me another cigarette." And then Rose died just when we were camping, and she had COPD. And we had been in touch with her son to see if we could come out this summer to see her. Last year was pretty horrible. She had an attack while we were visiting, and I thought she was going to die. And she was just like a little skeleton, and it was... Do you ever wish someone would die like that? Call it relief grief. I wanted her to die, but I didn't want her to die because I loved her so much. So it's been one thing after another for me for the last month. People dying, people getting sick, and on top of that, me getting sick, Kurt. So first of all, my pains sort of have started disappearing. My hip pain, my lower back pain have all stopped. No, that's wrong. Not stopped, but are manageable. I finally got adjustments to my pills, the pregabalin, hydromorphcontin, 2 different dosages, and they're working. What isn't working is I was developing a cough, which I told you about, and I went for the CT scan, which I'll know Friday, 2 more days, what the results are of those, although I have my suspicions. But I feel like I've got this heavy pressure on my chest, and I can hardly breathe. So I finally phoned the doctor and said, I need to come in. So on last Friday, I went in, and she said, it's really mushy. She didn't use the word mushy in there, in your lungs. So ordered me a puffer, an Ativan, because she said if you can't breathe, you're going to get panicky, and that's going to make it worse. So we've got to keep you calm. But she says, I'm wondering about your heart. Never ever thought about my heart. My heart? And she goes, well, you're not breathing. It's putting pressure on your heart. I think I better schedule you for some tests. Oh, goody. But, oh, goody, okay, I know. So that's all in the works. That's all coming up. As it is right now, I'm sleeping a lot. Like, I can't wait to go to bed at night so I can sleep for 10 hours. I know. I'm not doing any activity at all that's put any kind of strain on me at all. And even just leaning forward, I can feel my breath, and I'll start coughing. So I'm being really very, very cautious right now. But having said that, I had the most enjoyable time camping with the kids. Even though I didn't do anything, it was just to be able to be out. And there was a wheelchair accessible pathway, so my daughter Brett pushed me through the pathway so we could have a little walk and see what the water, go down to the lake and stuff. And the kids had a great time, and we're going camping again in another probably couple of weeks. Close, though. So I made a decision. We're not going to Alberta this year. I'm trying to convince Alan to go with our son Keith and leave me at home, but I'm not going to go far from home. It's too scary. I would not want to have an attack, or God forbid, my biggest fear is not being able to breathe. I'll be honest with you. I can handle the pain. Give me a pill, I'll handle the pain. But breathing, it's been pretty emotional. My new ramp, my son Keith, with the help of puppy Roxy, and Alan, who's hiding. Alan, come on, put your head around. Alan. All done with a railing. Don't know, my friends who are still walking, even though they have MS, can have something to hold on to when they come for a visit. Celebrated Canada Day yesterday. I'm so proud to be a Canadian. I love sitting outside and looking around at the greenery and the trees, and it just makes my heart fills with joy that I live here, and I'm so lucky to live here, and that I have my children close, and our daughter Heather will be here in a week, so that'll be great to be able to see her, even though it'll be short. And the cancer stuff, having to come to grips with all the stuff. Like even the other night, I was paying the bills, and Alan just very quietly said, I guess you're going to have to show me how to do that, aren't you? Yeah, it's my body, physical body, is slowing down. So I don't think I'm getting enough oxygen either. So I find like I'm forgetting things and stuff like that. So I'm trying to just be this level, okay? Like no high highs, no low lows. All the ideas I wanted to do for traveling or going on a cruise or anything like that, not going to do it. You know, I wouldn't put my family through that stress. I need to be close to home. I love my hospital bed. And I'm really happy that I'm not in any pain right now, because that's been going on for like 2 or 3 months, so this is good. I'm not saying that the tumors aren't there, because I know they are, but whatever it is, the pain management doctor, the stuff she's got me on, is keeping that all under control for now. Not saying it'll be forever, but for now. And now we just have to wait and see what's going to happen with the chest, because it's a bit concerning, I have to be honest. And you know, cancer is not for the weak-hearted. You guys, you know, any of you who have cancer or any other ailment, long-term ailment, you know that you have to be strong to be able to fight it. You do your best, and you know that there's going to be people around that love you and be there for you. And you know, there'll be bad days and there'll be good days, and so, hey, let's hope the good days outnumber the bad. And I still don't know what's going to happen with chemo. I still don't want to go on it. Thanks so much for joining me. I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Bye for now.